So off and rolling in the midweek from Bloomington. Indiana looking for their first win against Minnesota since 2014. Gophers 3 back of the top of the Big Ten standings, with Wisconsin and Nebraska to come later tonight. And extended rally to start the night, and it's Schaffmaster poking it through the middle to begin.
It's been hard to find some consistency with them, get that offensive rhythm down, but you'll see them tonight. They rely a lot on their outsides, but that was a focal point for them too, was getting those middles involved. And when you don't have that time in practice to do it, you got to kind of figure it out during games.
There's Samedy. 2.
And Samedy does such a good job. This is a tough ball coming behind. She's a little more offensive than them. Her blocking isn't necessarily what's keeping her in that game. It's her offensive firepower, but occasionally she'll get those few blocks in there as well.
There's a lot of Ellie Huseman early in the season. Rubright getting healthier and healthier as the weeks go on. Only like 3 errors that Minnesota made the entire match. There were a couple more than that, but not much. Very, very clean match for Minnesota in that first match a couple of weeks ago that they won in 3 against the Hoosiers. Stephanie Samedy splits 2 in the back row. 3 kills early for Samedy.
It's a way to find some space on that court around those blockers and right in between the defenders.
Samedy bangs that ball down to get Minnesota to 15 first. Hayworth going for Colheed. Schaffmaster had the first contact. And run down out of the back by Armstrong. So free chance for Schaffmaster, Minnesota. And Stephanie Samedy finishes off the point. And Katie Myers knows that well with her serve. And that's out to Geddes. And Sarame punched that in, got it inside the antenna too. Then she's back to field the Samedy swing. Too much heat coming from Stephanie Samedy.
Side of the court, so she knows that she's got to hit line on this ball. You see her going up, nobody home. That's what you love from your outsides. You want them to be some of the best passers in the gym, and those are the outsides that can be really big impact players.
And there's Wennis going overhead. Saris over the top. Rubright got a tip. Samedy off her spot. Busy point for Armstrong so far for Indiana. And that's set back down the net. And Samedy and Rubright influenced that shot.
Definitely the #1. I mean, the top 2 teams in the standings, some of the top 2 most efficient offenses in the entire country. It's going to be an absolute battle for every single point.
It's always loud, always engaged. A lot of red in there, no matter which way your loyalties shift tonight. Should be a ton of fun. Coming up right after our match, Samedy and the Gophers extend their lead in the second set, up 7. And the Canadian played for the junior national team for Canada. Coming from Steve Aird's home country, likes to recruit up north. And coming from the Toronto area. And that's turned away. Rubright and Samedy in there on the swing from Ramblesburg.
Job by Rubright, just getting in there, a perfect pass. You know IU wants to run their middle, and then Minnesota.
Trained and worked ad nauseum with. And of course, previously coached Micah Hancock at Penn State. So knows that serve well, but Stephanie Samedy into the cross court.
On that one, looked like she wanted to pad her stats a little bit more. One-on-one, just bangs it cross.
See hang time like that. Reminds you of maybe Kayla Caffey coming up in that Nebraska match next. She gets up, hangs in the air just like that. Stephanie Samedy from the back row. Paula Sarame with the serve. And Stephanie Samedy took a little heat off of it, got it in front of Saris. Edwards a little tap. And Samedy right next to Schaffmaster. Too easy with those two hooking up.
She's just trying to up her game in every way imaginable. Tonight, thrown in the blocks as well.
So set 3 begins with Samedy and turning it up toward 20. There's number 14.
A good job out of the back row. A lot of net open.
Some of those middle skills from her international time showing up a couple times in the block. A competitive set so far. 8 ties, 4 lead changes. And another lead change with Samedy coming back row. Usually they're kind about that, but then they go right back to yelling at you, I bet.
Depends where you are.
Right. And that finds the spot for Samedy and Rubright, rather.
On this journey that they've had.
Yeah, they'll have a fourth in a row at home on Saturday against Northwestern.
How she does a side set there. Well done.
From the right side this time, moving over to swing and kill.
Yeah, I think poor ball control, especially on serve receive, couple that with service errors, and they've found themselves out of rhythm in the early part of the first set.
That'll end that 3-zip mini run for the Gophers. Samedy out of the back. Kubik with the tip. Samedy dug by Nicklin Hames. Samedy finishes it off the block. She committed to Nebraska as an 8th grader back when you could do that. And that goes off the block and the pin point for Minnesota. And then the ace. Another ace for the Gophers, and Nebraska's passing breaking down again.
Block. She's going to, maintain aggressive play in the front court.
Son of former All-Big 12 first-team performer, former All-Big 10 first-team performer. Lost her starting position to the freshman Batenhorst earlier this year. There is Samedy on the back row. So it was 7 for Minnesota, now the first for Nebraska. Oh my, how do they pull that out of the net? Samedy hung just long enough to get a hand on it. Kathy goes right at Schaffmaster. And then nice angle there, the kill from the right pin.
Bring one for her team.
Good save by Schaffmaster there to at least send it back over. There's Kelly in the back row. Samedy got the kill from the right.
Lots of space there to swing down the line.
Kathy has seen her season hitting percentage slowly tick up over the last few matches. She's now hitting .406 on the year, averaging 2.5 kills per set. Good one-handed up by Winnis. And the tandem, Sun not down. Miave into the block, good coverage by McGraw. And then Miave gets it back and puts it down. Not just in this match, but last week, they were down 23-13 to Wisconsin. And that is Samedy's. Nebraska in the match with 27 attack errors to just 19 for Minnesota. That's a big number, 27. It's almost, 9 points per set that you're giving away. Delivers from the right pin. Samedy into the block. Right back to her. She's on Hames. Rolls that one. Boy, that's a smart shot by Steph Samedy. 77 swings between Winnis and Samedy. Make it 78, and that one's a Terminator.
Spot for Kubik to swing at. You want that high point of the ball at the highest point of the hitter's reach on the ball.
Shake! And the Gophers win it in 5 at home.
Entire deck of aces against Iowa last game. That is 4, and ball up and across. Bump set and spike down with authority from Raven Colvin. Sent up, bumped, set, and just gently tapped over as the Boilermakers sent into a frenzy back there, not expecting that one. And a little bit of confusion at the net. It appears is going to kill by Cleveland. Set and great block in the middle by Raven Colvin. And set up, gently tapped over and sent back by Raven Colvin. And with authority, Raven Colvin.
On the roster, certainly in the Big Ten.
And speaking of set, that one will wrap up the first one as an authoritative block by the Boilermakers brings set 1 to a close.
She averages about 4.5 kills per set for this season. Well above that pace at this point.
And there's something that the Boilermakers do well. The block set up by Raven Colvin in the contest against Iowa, and already on pace here with one here. And great effort there by number 5, Alexa Rousseau.
Coming right at you on that one. I thought that was out. Hornung played it anyway. That'll be a free ball over.
Hornung did save me with playing that ball. And the Boilermakers will pick up the point there.
Absolutely, still down 3.
Miller on the serve. And Raven saw a window, couldn't quite hit it, a little too much as it flies out the back. As that Boiler block party absolutely electric, trying to distract the serve. Raven Colvin sends that one through the block to the floor. Not as good as you can ask. As you can see, Colvin really perfectly places that one.
It would have been legal if it'd gone over. Flat set to the middle, and Raven Colvin does what it seems like she always does. Kill number 6. Play in this league if you're not good enough to win every single night.
I have to tell you, watching that Nebraska game, I was in the state of Wisconsin at the Two Rivers Hotel, the Huskers, but did not come away with the victory.
She's a good young player, just a sophomore for the Wildcats. Speaking of good young players, Raven Colvin, a true freshman for the Boilermakers. Sometimes it's impossible to get out of the way. There's a block by Megan Renner to end it.
And you can put it on the board. Yes, that is a 3-0 sweep for the Boilermakers, who end their 2-game losing streak here inside a Holloway Gymnasium.
Here, Megan Renner, the backup setter for the Boilermakers.
All right, so big matchup on Halloween. Happy Halloween to everybody out there. We hope you enjoy this matchup as much as we all will. Right up the middle. And able to be handled by Purdue. There's Cleveland on the right pin. On the attack there, Julia Orzel, but goes out.
You're not going to get a lot of big swings if you go into the block of Purdue. They lead the Big Ten in blocks per set.
There's Hayley Bush straight up the middle to Raven Colvin.
To teammate Danielle Hart, and they'll do some switching with Robin and Schmreck, who is on the right side right now. You saw Robinson running around behind.
Georgia Civita out of Milan, Italy serves it away. Ellis off the block, still alive, kept up by Orzel, but not for long, put straight down by that Purdue block.
They are definitely ready for what's coming from the Wisconsin offense.
Hayley straight up the middle. What a good defensive play back there by Marissa Hornig. On the offensive Cleveland, kept alive by Lauren Barnes. Tapped over. Setter Hayley Bush put over in space by Hornig. Up the middle, there's Raven Colvin.
But how about the play of Purdue at the net, just sticking with it and keeping the ball alive?
Hayley on the slide there. That was Robinson. Couldn't get it to the floor. Looking for the back corner there. And found it.
Their game plan to a T. And that was one thing that Coach Shondell said he knew that his team, if they did, over Nebraska yesterday as well.
Talk more about that as this match progresses. Grace Cleveland able to keep that up. See if Wisconsin can get in a little bit of a rhythm offensively. It's tough to do it against the block of Raven Colvin, though. Here's Lauren Barnes back to serve. Newton has to keep it alive, out of system ball, and a good chance coming here. Can Wisconsin capitalize? You know Rettke can put it to the floor. What a dig in the back. Off the block once again. The block's racking up. That's the 5th of this set.
Yeah, they definitely have Orzel's number. The blockers are... She's going to really get a chance to make her mark on this one.
Out of system ball for Newton. Lauren Barnes there with the dig. Orzel into the dig of Hayley Bush, the setter. Back goes Newton. Kept up by Sydney Hilly. Julia Orzel again off the block, and Purdue with 6 blocks in the match. Bush right up the middle, and a kill for Raven Colvin.
Bringing a lot of energy. She's able to really contact the ball.
Again, you said it, a true freshman that is going to be making waves for Purdue in the next couple of years, especially in the Big Ten. This block has been causing havoc for Wisconsin.
A great job of lining up on the hitter, so not just getting their hands over and in good position, but they're lining up really well.
Hilly tried to go over in 2, gets it back this time, and the block from Ellis this time.
And that's a big key to stop a team like Wisconsin. You've got to make sure they're out of system with such an elite setter and great attackers. You've got to make sure that they're not in system.
Set to the right side, taking lift off, but the block is there. Demps.
Well, Purdue might be serving really well, and that's helping a player that can be utilized on either pin, so she's very useful when she's in the right side, but in that rotation one where she's got to swing on the left, she can do that with ease.
Kept alive by Jocelyn Boyer back there. Good chance coming here for Purdue. It's Raven Colvin. Once again, the block getting involved. Demps sends it back to the middle of the floor, and Barnes has to throw it over. Raven Colvin again, this time finds the paint and in the lines for a point.
Well, it's so impressive how Hayley Bush is able to just find Raven Colvin.
It's going to be the setter, Hayley Bush, back behind the service line for Purdue to send it away. Trying to go with that short serve once again. Loberg into the block, and there's Grace Cleveland.
To use their last challenge right here. Of course, they've got the comfort of being up 2-0.
There's Colvin straight to the floor.
Passer Boyer for Wisconsin was just hoping it was going out, and that ball was well inside.
Not too often that you can get a block off Dana Rettke, but Ellis has done a great job.
Because you know that you've got to find ways to get your hitters going, and a lot of times it's a little short conversation here, a thing there, just to make them understand that, hey, you have the confidence, you know you're an elite player. You know, early on, Purdue was really able to run their offense really with ease, so the serving has been great for Wisconsin in this stretch.
Hannah McDonald on the serve for Wisconsin. And a side out for Purdue. Raven Colvin
They're set to go. Jess Merzick will lead it off with for the Wolverines with the serve. And it's a quick first point. Ohio State wins it. They spike it, and this is Hannah Grunsfelder with the serve for the Buckeyes. Fielded well. Jess Robinson with the spike. And they field that well, and it's Emily Londeau. And that's a deadly matchup right there. Hannah Grant with the dig. Merzick from far back, and Paige Jones will spike that right into the hands of the back line for the Buckeyes. And that one is just pelted right down on Hannah Grant. Too much for her to handle. We expect this to be a pretty even match throughout the evening. Oh, and a cheeky play for number 10 of the Buckeyes. That's Mag Podraza. A deep spike for the Buckeyes, fielded by the libero. Johnson to Merzick. A soft kill, kept alive. Just Robinson will set it. Across the net for them to just spike it back down, but Bertovsky is there. Merzick will spike it, fielded well. And the Buckeyes have a great set opportunity. The Ohio State Buckeyes a chance to serve and tie the game here. Bertovsky with the spike, but it's fielded well. And Merzick and Robinson were there. The stud sophomore on the rise, set to serve again. And she's sending it to that far back right corner. They're having a little bit of trouble receiving it. This one received by Grant, way back for Merzick. She'll send it back, and Grant will just pop it over to keep the play alive. And there's not much you can do about that. That's Emily Londeau, the sophomore out of Ohio. Gives the Wolverines their biggest lead of the night, 3 points. So Hannah Grant will serve again. A good save by the libero, Kylie Murr. Johnson to Boney. She just taps it over. That's an easy reception for the Buckeyes. And they'll send it over. That's deflected at the line. It did land out of bounds. Kylie Murr in the white uniform will serve. To the maize uniform, Hannah Grant. They pop it back over. The set for Londeau. And Jones, following that kill, is set to serve. It hits the net, but they keep it alive. Fielded well by Murr. Jess Robinson with a big windup. Getting ready to serve. A great set to Emily Londeau, and she's one of those deadly killers for the Buckeyes. And Grant back behind the stripe. Sends it in, fielded well by the Buckeyes. Londeau will pop it over. Very nice. A piece. And that's Gabby Gonzalez with the serve. Johnson will set it to Bertovsky. Excuse me, that was Jackie Boney. But the Wolverines fielded well. At this point, will get their 30th point of the set. Definitely a rare sight in volleyball. But these teams are evenly matched, so it's not a huge surprise. So Grant back behind the service stripe. Another opportunity. Finally, a serve in for the Wolverines. And that one is sent wide, but it's deflected. And that one falls in. And you can tell she has way more zip on her serve than other players. And that one's just pushed to the other side and make a split-second judgment call on if she wants to spike it or finesse it. And so she's set to serve. The Buckeyes are up 32-31. Paige Jones with the spike, fielded well. And that will do it. The Buckeyes. It'll be Hannah Grunsfelder, the senior for the Buckeyes, to kick it off. And Merzick is there for the dig. Johnson will set up Jess Robinson, fielded at the net by the Buckeyes. And Grant with the diving dig, poked over the top by Merzick.
That over the top down the line.
Emma Monks, Lauren Gibbs,
Sarah Franklin, Naya Gross, Molly Johnson, and Julia Bishop out there with Kabengele. Attacks there on the left-hand side. Good sprawling effort from Mac Podraza. Janasia Moore scores for the Buckeyes. It was far from a dominating 3-set victory. This time for Moore. It's blocked out of bounds, the Buckeyes. She's averaging 4.6 points per frame. Also one of the best in the Big Ten, second at the start of the weekend. Michigan State with another chance to go through Franklin. Good block. This Michigan State team is talented, but they are inexperienced, still dealing with some youth. And I think especially in a league that has incredible depth.
And she just gets it in, and they don't play good defense on it because they're always in system.
No problems there. Erica Davis cracks one right into the back row. Ohio State 9, Michigan State 8 here in the opening set. Good back row attack, excellent dig. Set up far side. Well done by the Buckeye defense. They'll have to play again. Scrambling, good work by Podraza. Chance for Gabby Gonzalez, and Ohio State scores.
For the non-perfect sets for Michigan State, where they're putting that ball, if they're putting it on Podraza.
Julia Bishop, young lady from Mercy High School in Dearborn, Michigan.
In the Big Ten, you have to face those hostile crowds and stay within your system and still win.
Gonzalez, perfect placement on the shot. Is literally trying to learn how to win matches in Michigan State. It's not like they haven't won yet this year, right? They've got a couple of conference wins, but I think it would do a lot for them to try to go win on the road against one of the better teams in the country. The days are blending together.
They really are.
It was 4 matches back on October the 20th. By the way, it's 20-16. They made the adjustment there.
A good dig.
Great defense from Podraza. Playing through Janasia Moore. Michigan State scrambling. Let's see if the Buckeyes pick the right spot. Well, it was effective. So Ohio State needs to make a play. Down 2, 21-19. Erica Davis. Well, it's a start.
There's a backcourt setter, and when she gets to the front court, another setter comes in, maybe a little bit better blocker through the front court.
Gonzalez. Yeah, it's misplayed by the Spartans.
You're gonna get hands on the block.
Good back set for Janasia Moore. Better defense. Scrambling at the net. Podraza for Gonzalez. And a net violation. They've had a lot of 3-set losses this year. This would be a good start for them on the road.
Good serve, good pass.
Great finish.
But good play all the way around.
Michigan State gets out of rhythm. Another perfect play, and Riley Rader scores a second time.
Guys, how many out-of-system swings can you make them take?
Janasia Moore, nicely done. You can feel the max effort nature with the way she attacks.
Yeah, smooth but absolutely powerful.
She wants another chance this time. Gonzalez, though, beautiful.
And it's really hard to defend with 3 blockers against 4 or 5 attackers.
Talia Edmonds, good serve. Little setter's dump from Podraza.
Yeah,
okay, score again.
So some good momentum from the Spartans if they can continue it on. Oh, what an angle.
Early second set. Michigan State looks a little bit better here the beginning of the second than they did late in the first, but
maybe Lauren Gibbs or whoever's back there called for it to pass, so. No right side.
Buckeyes scrambling a little bit. Gabby Gonzalez had a tough day. They've combined for 10 errors and 11 kills in 39 total attacks. Number 40 is a good one.
You can tell the energy on the Buckeye side of the net.
I was just going to say, yeah, there is some real heaviness emotionally right now with Ohio State.
Maybe they ate too much candy earlier. That would be my problem today.
Okay. Podraza couldn't score. Edmonds for Franklin.
Good dig. Oh,
Wow, what great effort.
Oldenburg is, you just see her, you know, they go through a rough patch, they lose a set, there's not a reaction. He puts the same group back up on the floor, and he says, hey, you guys got it. You're going to lose some sets.
And ace is something that the Boilermakers have had far too few of this season, ranking last in the Big Ten. And set and spiked by Cleveland. And that's an error on the block by Northwestern. Entire deck of aces against Iowa last game. That is 4. And ball up and across. Bump set and spike down with authority from Raven Colvin. Stetson on the serve. Over. Doug. LaGrange, Illinois. Dotson's been very effective hitting. Set up and sent down with authority by J.L. Johnson. Sent up, bumped, set, and just gently tapped over as the Boilermakers sent into a frenzy back there, not expecting that one. And a little bit of confusion at the net. It appears is going to looking for more. Up, sails over, set, and hammered down by Becker. Sent back in. Cleveland, and sends it in. And Trammell combined for 16 blocks against Nebraska. And sailed over. Bump, set, go for the kill, not quite. Set up for Cleveland. Cleveland will not be denied at the net. Cleveland with authority.
It's not always was the call incorrect, it's also is there a good view of the call being incorrect. Those are the two things you have to have. No doubt about that one.
Oh my goodness, my pen just flew up off the desk after Grace Cleveland's authoritative.
You're not going to get a lot of big swings if you go into the block of Purdue. They lead the Big Ten in blocks per set.
There's Hayley Bush straight up the middle to Raven Colvin.
Yeah, they're very disciplined, and they make sure that they get their hands pressed over, and they can really frustrate hitters.
Bush with the set. Out to Newton, goes off speed.
You have to think Orzel is going to be up for National Freshman of the Year the way she's playing.
Bush will set it right back, and a huge hammer brought down.
Good play, and then when to be aggressive.
Orzel serves it away there. Here's Bush on the slide, and off the block for J.L. Johnson. Goes a little bit here in the first set. Back row, Orzel trying to find the space, and what a save by Newton just to keep that alive. Or excuse me, that's Maddie Skimmerhorn. Off the block and out. There's Izzy Ashburn to serve it away. Hayley Bush will try Ellis once again. Emma Ellis, a couple of kills here in the first set.
And that's a huge benefit of having a great setter that knows how to change things up.
Good chance coming here in the back row attack. And Caitlin Newton. You take on an Ohio State team, a Penn State team, Nebraska team. You beat all of them, and now this is kind of the final ranked opponent for a little while for the Badgers, but it is a difficult stretch.
And that is just what it's like in the Big Ten. I mean, it's night in, night out playing some of the best teams in the country.
Finishes are better. They have been really a mainstay in the NCAA tournament. And Kelly Sheffield been a big part of that. It was a joy talking to him during our call this week. There's some good effort there, not able to keep it up. Grace Cleveland will get the kill there.
They are definitely ready for what's coming from the Wisconsin offense.
Hilly straight up the middle. What a good defensive play back there by Marissa Hornig. On the offensive, Cleveland kept alive by Lauren Barnes. Tapped over. Setter Hayley Bush put over in space by Hornig. Up the middle, there's Raven Colvin.
Taking up so much space, and Orzel is just not having much luck at all.
Newton steps into one. Caitlin Newton now with 3 kills in the opening set in Purdue.
So, you know, they're not giving up on this, and definitely all momentum on the Wisconsin side.
Bush will try Newton once again, and this time able to find the floor. Set point off the board for Purdue, at least for the time being. Hayley Bush over in 2, kept up in the air by Barnes, but can't get it back over to Purdue's side, and set point back up there. So Ashburn to serve once again. Bush will try to go over in 2. Here's Ellis off the block, and Emma Ellis, a great first set.
Well, passing's got to be there, and not just passing in front of the 3-meter line, but passing in the middle of the court more. They pass a lot of balls over to right front, and that's made it hard for Hayley to run the offense.
This Wisconsin team last year, national semifinalists, lost to Texas in the national semifinal. Here's Newton into the cross court. Caitlin Newton. So far, 2 kills, 5 attempts, hitting 200, and hasn't really been involved a whole lot in the block. Newton in the back row. Coach Shondell said we would like to serve a little bit tougher, use some more short serves. Taking the back by Orzel in transition. There was Lobert, kept alive by Purdue. Bush will try Ellis off the block. And out, Emma Ellis, 4 kills.
Luxury for Purdue is that they do have the 3 of them to see who's hot each day. And just give a different look to opponents, and the angles at which she hits is just different.
Hornog with the set outside. There's Barnes once again. Makes it look easy. Block is there for Purdue. Kept up by Jocelyn Boyer. Hayley Bush close to the net. Sets it back in the kill for Jael Johnson.
Tight, and she just got there, was able to get a hand on.
5 kills for Rettke now. Still set point for Purdue. Bush to the backside. Newton has to float into it. And it's Hayley Bush to put an end to the second set. They take set 2, 25-22. Purdue looking to sweep the number 3 team in the nation. Stick around to find out if they can do it.
Really doing a great job of closing, getting hands pressed over, and frustrating Wisconsin.
Double-digit blocks for Purdue in this one. Here's Newton into the cross court, the dig for Lauren Barnes. Hayley will set the middle. There's Robinson. And what placement?
A little bit of a fortunate break there for Orzel.
Bush to the back row attack. Newton kept alive by Lauren Barnes, the libero for Wisconsin. Doing it all. Over at 2 for Hayley Bush.
Sometimes, and I knew she was going to do it, but she just...
Third service error of the match in all for the Badgers. Gives it back to Jenna Otek, who will serve it away. Hayley to the backside there. Here's Grace Cleveland. Lauren Barnes keeps it up. Demps into the cross court. Hayley, or excuse me, that's Bush with the dig. And finally, it's Robinson off a block. Bush on the slide to Cleveland with the kill.
Faster tempoed slide set as the right side.
8 kills for Dana Rettke on 16 attempts, hitting .312 now. Has really started to pick it up in the last couple of sets. There's Lauren Barnes again. Otek returning favor. And over at 2, once again, it's Hayley Bush, so smart in the middle.
Especially when Yulia Orzel and Dana Rettke, 2 of the top attackers, have struggled a little more in this one.
There's Grace Cleveland. That slide on that right pin has worked quite well for Purdue. First 4, we played at 25, got a win by 2. If a fifth set is needed, play 15. And there it is once again. Grace Cleveland finding success.
Everybody's going to play a little bit better when they're relaxed, and coaches try to help their players understand that. It's not always easy to get them to do.
Not a welcoming sight for Purdue fans. Bush in the back row attack. Oh, what a kill. Once again.
And Lauren Barnes was not happy with herself. She hits the